A very good evening. Welcome to World Now at 4. I am Peace Ogbawe. First, let's talk the headlines. On the headlines, FG facilitates Ukrainian students' admission. ECOWAS lifts Mali sanctions, agrees on Burkina transition. On international scene, Pope Francis denies resignation rumors. And on sport, Eriksen agrees in principle to join Manchester United. Now the news in details. Nigeria's federal government has condemned the call by 5 U.S. Republican senators asking for the redesignation, of Nigeria as a country of particular concern because of alleged persecution of Christians. The senators who made the call in a letter to the U.S. Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, also alleged violation of freedom of Christians' right to practice their religion. Responding to the allegation in an interview in London, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said the call was based on false premise and misunderstanding of what was going on in the country. Reports stated that the minister, who is in London for engagements with international media as well as some relevant non-government organizations, noted that the Constitution of Nigeria guarantees the right of anybody to practice his or her own faith without molestation, and the government has always safeguarded the constitutional provision jealously. It said most commentators who were not well versed in the politics and happenings in Nigeria took criminalities and communal clashes as issues of religious persecution. Meanwhile, the federal government of Nigeria has announced that it is making efforts to facilitate the placement of Nigerian students who fled war-torn Ukraine into tertiary institutions in the country to enable them continue their education. This is contained in a statement published on Monday on the website of the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The statement, signed by the spokesperson of the ministry, Francesca Omaluyi, directed interested students to visit the ministry's website and complete the Nigerian students in Ukraine, that is NSC registration form, with the required information on or before July 15, 2022. According to the statement, the federal government of Nigeria informed the Nigerian students who returned from Ukraine following the conflict in the country that efforts have been made to facilitate their placement in institutions to enable them continue their studies. Away from that story, the Chief of Armed Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, has charged troops to complement Nigerian Army's kinetic engagement with spiritual efforts such as counseling, guidance, and operations across the nation. He gave the charge during an interdenominational church service to commemorate Nigerian Army Day celebration 2022, held at St. Mark Military Church, Protestant, 34 Brigade Obinze Barracks in Owerri. Noted that the theme of the interdenominational service, promoting national unity through religious tolerance and peaceful efforts of the Nigerian Army, has also urged all to desist from the use of misinformation, deceit, and issues capable of disintegrating the nation, adding that there is unity in our unique diversity. And moving away from that story, we bring you the fact that the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, that is NAFDAC, has sealed 10 packaged water companies in Ondo State over non-NAFDAC. Benu Philip disclosed this in an interview that the affected companies, which spread across the June. He explained that all the affected companies were operating with an expired license and producing an unhygienic environment. Philip used the license issues, said the license issued is not forever, adding that renewal periods should be sustained to avoid regulatory interruption. He also advised Nigerians to always look out for the NAFDAC registration number of sachets and bottled water, batch information, and date markings. It said the agency will continue to collaborate with other agencies to ensure its set goals and targets were achieved. You're still watching World Now at 4 on Hills TV. When the news returns, news from other parts of Africa. Just stay with us. Welcome back. The Economic Community of West Africa States, that is ECOWAS members, has lifted economic financial sanctions on Mali, approved Burkina transition timetable, and gave Guinea an additional 1-month reprieve to present an acceptable timetable. This was disclosed in Ghana, where the West African leaders met to review sanctions imposed on the 3 neighbor countries. During the summit, Umaru Embalo, president of Guinea-Bissau, was elected as new chairman of the bloc. And meanwhile, speaking in Accra, Jean-Claude Bro, ECOWAS Commission president, said the head of state had reached an agreement with Bamako.
They also decided that the sanction taken in terms of recalling the ambassadors of ECOWAS member country, this sanction is also removed. So the ambassadors turn to Bamako, to Mali. The authority of Burkina Faso have made a new proposal, which is now to have the transition in Burkina last for 24 months.
Mali and ECOWAS in February 2024. The poll will be preceded by a referendum on a revised constitution in March 2023 and legislative elections in late 2023. Away from that one, Sierra Leone's President Julius Maada Bio announced his government had unanimously backed a bill that would decriminalize abortion in the country. He said this while speaking at the 10th African Conference on Sexual Health and Rights, which took place in Freetown, noting that the Parliament Sierra Leone's current abortion dates to 1861, and this allows the procedure to take place only if the mother's life was at risk. In 2015, Parliament adopted a law entitled the Safe Abortion Act, but then President Ernest Bai Koroma refused to sign it, saying it should not be put to a referendum. According to health authorities, estimates shows that abortions cost around 10% of the world. After this break, to stay with us. Welcome back. Russia's President Vladimir Putin has ordered his defense minister to continue the offensive in Ukraine after Russia captured the city of Lysychansk. Putin was shown calling on forces on other fronts to pursue their aims accordingly to previously approved plans. The capture means that all of Luhansk region is now in Russians' hands. Earlier, the region's Ukraine governor said the city was abandoned so Russia would not destroy it from a distance. But President Vladimir Zelensky has pledged those Ukrainian forces will return to take Lysychansk, and thanks to the increase in the supply of modern weapons. Russia has now stepped up its bombardment of cities in neighboring Donetsk region and Sloviansk and Kramatorsk, which targeted together, and the region of Donetsk and Luhansk form the industrial Donbas area. Pope Francis has denied suggestions that he may be ready to resign, saying in an interview published today that rumors was that he was suffering from a serious illness and they were caught gossip. According to Pope Francis, he had suffered a small fracture in his knee, which was treated with laser and magnet therapy. The knee pain forced him to indefinitely postpone a July trip to Africa. He denied rumors that he had been diagnosed of stomach cancer during his colon operation in July 2021, saying it was merely court gossip. Francis will travel to Canada this month, after which he said he would like to travel to Moscow and Kyiv if possible. Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal has said today that Ukraine needs $750 billion for a recovery plan in the wake of Russia's invasion. Shmyhal told Ukraine Recovery Conference, currently taking place in Switzerland, there had been over $100 billion of direct damage to infrastructure from Russian aggression. The two-day conference in Lugano, which has already heard from President Zelensky, is bringing together several world leaders and NGOs with the aim of drawing up a roadmap for Ukraine's reconstruction after the war. Up next, this news. Just stay with us. Welcome back. Oil marketers in Nigeria have given conditions that should be met in order to retain the pump price of premium motor spirit, that is petrol, at 165 naira per litre. General Manager Corporate Communications, Department of Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Kimchi Apollo, said in a statement issued in Abuja that the executives of the Southwest Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, that is IPMAN, paid a courtesy visit to the authority where they made their demands known. The marketers requested that the cost of petrol must be sold at the approved ex-depot price at various depots, whether private or government-owned, as this would enable fuel stations to dispense the product at the regulated 165 naira per litre rate. They also added that private depots were dispensing the commodity at higher rates than what was approved by the federal government of Nigeria, despite the many challenges in the downstream oil sector. Earlier, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority has asked the marketers to report depots that were selling PMS above the approved price. Away from that story, the European Central Bank has today unveiled plans to integrate climate change into its monetary policy in a bid to encourage Eurozone businesses to pay more attention to their environmental impact. Steps by the ECB's Governing Council is aimed towards taking into account climate-related financial risk and support the green transition of the economy in line with EU's climate neutrality objectives. The bank statement also revealed that under the new plans, the ECB will aim to gradually decarbonize corporate bond holdings from October 2022, shifting them towards issuers with better climate performance. According to a member of the ECB's executive board, Isabel Schnabel, during the press briefing, noted that the aim is to give companies more incentives to reduce their emission. This will also measure through indicators such as lower greenhouse gas emissions, more ambitious carbon reduction targets, and better climate-related disclosures. Up next on World Now at 4 is Sport News. Just stay with us.
Good evening and welcome to Sport News on World Now at 4. I'm Richard Badung. Super Falcons of Nigeria and Banyana of South Africa have another day in the sun as the Super Falcons and the Banyana go to war for 3 points later tonight in the opening group game of the Group C in the 12th Women's Africa Cup of Nations, which began in Morocco on Saturday. 9-time champions and World Cup ever-present Nigeria have not forgotten how 10 months ago and on home soil, the youthful Banyana squad ran away with a 4-2 win in the final match of the first edition of Aisha Buhari's women's tournament at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena in Lagos. Nigeria will be without goalkeeper Chiamaka Inadozie, also attacker Francis Odega, who has been disqualified due to medical reasons. This tells the Israel-based goalkeeper Tochukwu Oluehi could be between the sticks for the Super Falcons against the Banyana tonight. Away from that story now, Confederation of African Football, CAF President Patrice Motsepe postponement of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations finals in Ivory Coast to 2024. Motsepe confirmed the postponements in Rabat, Morocco's capital. The tournament was to be hosted in June-July of the rainy season in Ivory Coast, the host country. It is the second consecutive time that the AFCON is being postponed after the last edition of the tournament in Cameroon, where Senegal emerged the winners after defeating Egypt on penalties in the final, was equally postponed. After suffering several changes in dates, the 33rd edition of the AFCON eventually took place earlier this year. The 34th edition of the biggest African football showpiece, which had been initially scheduled for June 23 to July 23, 2023 in Ivory Coast, has also suffered the same fate as the CAF president said it would not go according to plan due to the weather conditions in the West African country. Transfer. The 30-year-old short-term could also have returned to Thomas Frank's side, but the lure of playing for United proved too much. A 3-year contract is being prepared for Eriksen, who is still to have his medical at Old Trafford. Eriksen could be United manager Erik ten Hag's second signing of the summer transfer window, with Feyenoord defender Tyrell Malacia undergoing a medical at Carrington ahead of his move. Still to take you to the transfer world in Europe, where Arsenal have signed Brazil forward Gabriel Jesus from Manchester United, from Manchester City, for a fee of £45 million on a long-term deal. So the 25-year-old is manager Miguel Arteta's fourth signing of the summer, following the arrivals of midfielder Fabio Vieira, goalkeeper Matt Turner, and Brazil forward Marquinhos. Arteta, who worked with Jesus when an assistant coach at City, at City, has been trying to boost Arsenal's attacking options following the departures of forwards Alexander Lacazette and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang on free transfers. Jesus, who wear the number 9 shirt for Gunners, leaves City after 5 years and a half. He made 236 appearances and scored 95 goals for them, winning 4 league titles, 3 League Cups and FA Cup. And that's your sport news on World Now at 4. Back to Peace Ogenegbawe for the rest of the news. I'm Richard Badum.
Thank you, Richard Badung, for the sports news. And now let's go to the rest of the news. Bandits in the early hours of today abducted Reverend Father Emmanuel Silas of St. Charles Catholic Church, Kauru local government area of Kaduna State. The Chancellor, Kafanchan Catholic Diocese, Reverend Father Emmanuel Okolo, confirmed the incidents. This is coming less than a week after the remains of slain Reverend Father Virtus Borogo, also a Catholic priest, killed by terrorists on his farm, were buried in the state capital on Thursday. On June 25, 2022, while his brother was kidnapped by his abductors. The development sparked protest among priests in Kaduna Archdiocese, forcing them to carry placards and venting their anger over the deteriorating spate of insecurity across the nation, especially in the state. The Chancellor, in a statement released in Kaduna made available today, said the priest was abducted from the parish rectory of the church in the early hours of today and solicited the prayers for the abducted priest. The Chancellor said that diocese would adopt any legitimate means to ensure the quick and safe release of the cleric. And that's World Now at 4. But before we go, here are the headlines again. We told you that the federal government is facilitating Ukrainian students' admission into Nigerian tertiary universities. ECOWAS lifts Mali sanctions, agrees on Burkina Faso's transition. Pope Francis has also denied resignation rumors. And on sport, Eriksen has agreed in principle to join Manchester United. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hills TV, Instagram at Hills TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hills TV. I am Peace Ogenegbawe. Thank you for watching.